So after 9 months since the last one, we finally have an announcement for a new Nintendo Direct. And this one's interesting for me because it's the first Nintendo Direct where I'm not pining for any Pikmin 4 news. For the last decade, all I've wanted out of a Nintendo Direct was Pikmin 4 news, with the last Direct in particular me wanting Pikmin 4 DLC because the game was already out at this point, but now this is the second Nintendo Direct since Pikmin 4 came out. It's been almost a year since the game came out. I don't expect DLC, so honestly, I'm kind of happy with whatever they show here. But of course, there are ways that the Direct would be perfect for me in particular, and a lot of my wishes for what Nintendo could show in this Direct are actually within the realm of possibility and reasonability, in my opinion. Now, I don't think all the things I'm gonna list here today will happen, but I think there's a high likelihood that at least a couple will. With probably the highest likelihood that everybody's talking about is a new Mario Party game. Mario Party games on Switch have been okay. Super Mario Party is probably the best of the original ND Cube Mario Parties, that being any original Mario Party starting from Mario Party 9 onward, and Superstars was a great step in the right direction, although I do think the game was a little too slow-paced, probably mostly due to it being built off the Super Mario Party engine, which is just designed to be inherently slower than what was on the Nintendo 64, and there was a lot of lack of boards, but it still was a really fun game. So I'm hoping that they finally take the lessons learned from Mario Party Superstars and get back to basics, creating an original Mario Party with the original Mario Party rule set, and hopefully including more than 5 boards this time. We used to get like 7 to 8 new boards per year in the GameCube era for Mario Party, and now we have like 4 every 3 years, with most of them being either extremely simple or just a remake. I don't really think it's asking for much, although the franchise has not been like that since ND Cube picked up the series. I think the main reason for these lack of boards is that ND Cube likes to make a lot of side modes in these Mario Party games, and those modes are fine, and I would like to see original ideas like that continue in Mario Party games as side modes, but if you have to sacrifice that to give us more than 5 boards, I'm willing to take that trade, because obviously the main reason why people like Mario Party, including myself, is for that original formula that got developed and refined on the N64. Another super reasonable and likely wish I have for this Nintendo Direct is to get a bunch of cool new games on N64 NSO. We are missing so many bangers like Donkey Kong 64, Diddy Kong Racing, Animal Crossing. Imagine if they actually translated the original N64 Japanese version of Animal Crossing to give it to us in English on that system for the first time in the US. That would be really, really cool. If they were to add a new console to NSO, I think now might finally be the time to add GameCube. We've been saying this for pretty much a decade, whether it be on the Wii U Virtual Console or the Switch NSO, that we want GameCube games. It's long overdue, and at this point, it seems kind of like a pipe dream because they never end up doing it. But I think right now is the time that makes the most sense to do it, kind of. I know that's a bit weird to say because we're getting so many of these GameCube remakes, like with Pikmin 1 and 2, and Paper Mario the Thousand Year Door and Metroid Prime. But Nintendo never releases every major game on any given console they launch for NSO. I mean, they haven't put Super Mario RPG on the Super Nintendo NSO, and then they made a remake of it. I don't see why they can't do GameCube NSO without putting Paper Mario Thousand Year Door or the Pikmin games or the Metroid Prime games on there. I feel like this could also solve the issue of people really wanting to play Wind Waker and Twilight Princess on Switch, because let's be real, Nintendo is not going to release the HD versions of those games in a bundle pack, or both individually back-to-back for the Switch. But I think a fair compromise to this would be to put the GameCube versions on Switch via NSO, and then save the remakes for a potential really, really good upgraded remake for Nintendo Switch 2. It's been so long since Wind Waker and Twilight Princess HD came out. 10 years for Wind Waker HD, almost 10 years for Twilight Princess HD. It's almost been the same gap between the HD versions and the GameCube versions from the HD versions to now. So at this point, I would rather see those games remade from the ground up with a lot of development time put into it rather than just a quick port of the Wii U version. And then also, Luigi's Mansion 2 HD is coming out this month, and a lot of people, including myself, were questioning, like, hey, now we have Luigi's Mansion 2 and 3 on Switch, what about the first one? I'd love to have the whole series on there. You did the same thing with Pikmin. What gives? Well, what if in this direct they shadow drop GameCube NSO with Luigi's Mansion being one of the launch titles for it? That way, when Luigi's Mansion 2 comes out later this month, all 3 games will be on Switch. I think it makes a lot of sense. So those are the 2 things I'm really hoping for in this Nintendo Direct, and I think are probably the most likely to happen. Some other things that I think could happen, and I would love to happen, but I'm not too sure on, would be Metroid Prime 2 Remastered. I know a lot of rumor and leaker people are saying that Metroid Prime 2 would release as more of an upscaled port like Pikmin 1 and 2, rather than a full remaster like Prime 1, but I feel like it's been long enough since Prime Remastered launched, and I think it was even rumored to be done development a year prior to it being launched. So they've had plenty of time to give Prime 2 and 3 the same treatment. I would also imagine a lot of the work from the original Prime Remaster can be carried over to Prime 2 and 3, making it even faster to develop, so I'm hoping for the full remaster treatment, just like Prime 1 got. I also think now is a perfect opportunity for Nintendo to test and launch a new IP, because obviously a new IP is not going to be a system seller. We saw with ARMS what happened. A lot of Nintendo fans and just gamers in general are more willing to try a new IP on a system they already own and have other franchises that they like represented on it. I think a huge reason why their last original IP, ARMS, didn't do well is because it launched in the first year of the Switch, and a lot of people were just excited to play games they already know, like Mario Kart on their Switch, Zelda, Splatoon 2, Mario Odyssey, etc., that they never bothered to look at this $60 game and be like, hey, this looks cool, I want to try it out. But now that the Switch has all of those favorite franchises on it, and people have had plenty of time to play them, I think a new IP could be very successful at this time in particular, especially as people are looking for something to play on the Switch while they wait for the Switch 2 to come out. Nintendo is in a unique position where literally almost the entire release schedule for Switch is a clean slate, considering that Luigi's Mansion 2 HD is coming out this month, and all they have left after that is the Nintendo World Championship game and a 7-year-old promise for Metroid Prime 4. So most Nintendo fans at this time are thinking, what is the next big game that I can purchase for my Switch and play? I need at least something to look forward to, making it the perfect opportunity to test a new IP and game concept in front of your eager fan base waiting for their next Nintendo fix. There's a lot of other remakes that I would love to see either on Switch or Switch 2, like Kid Icarus Uprising, a full remake of Super Mario 64, that would be really cool. There's just so much remake potential with past Nintendo games, and Nintendo is really doubling down on the remakes, which I love. So hopefully we can see some new cool ones here. Besides Kid Icarus Uprising, I don't really have a particular wish for what remake we would get. I guess a Luigi's Mansion remake would be really cool if we don't get it on GameCube NSO. I think a 2D Zelda remake would be really cool right now because we haven't had 2D Zelda since, I think, Link's Awakening, which was 2019 or 2018. It's been a really long time since we've had 2D Zelda, especially an original one. What would actually really be cool, I think, would be a remake of the DS Zelda games. I don't know how they would do it. They would have to tweak the controls a lot, completely remake the graphics, but I think those games have the potential to make a really cool comeback in a similar vein to Skyward Sword HD, where it came back with the option to use button controls without any motion, which was a really nice feature that also helped make the game more accessible for people who don't like motion controls. So I think they could do something similar for the touchscreen-based Zelda games. So those are all of my realistic predictions, but of course, I am a Pikmin fan, and Pikmin fans are always on copium and hopium for new content in our favorite franchise to be released in a Nintendo Direct. Now, since it's been so close since Pikmin 4 came out, the obvious choice here would probably be Pikmin 4 DLC, but my pie-in-the-sky pipe dream game to come out, besides obviously Pikmin 5, which isn't going to happen, would be a Pikmin spin-off that focuses specifically on the multiplayer. This game would include the Marble Battles from Pikmin 2, Bingo Battle from Pikmin 3, and Dandori Battle from Pikmin 4, all remade in the engine of Pikmin 4, with online matchmaking, a bunch of new levels, complete ranking system and everything, basically making a game structured like Splatoon or ARMS, but with Pikmin's competitive multiplayer. But that seems a little bit barren for a game, so why not add in cooperative multiplayer as well, letting you play Dandori challenge type stages, or do collect the treasure, defeat all enemies challenges with your friends. A lot of people in the Pikmin fanbase have also talked about a desire to have a cave or Dandori battle or Dandori challenge level editor, And I think this would be the perfect spin-off to incorporate something like that, since the game would be so focused on the community-driven aspect behind online gaming. The more I think about it, the more this idea makes sense. There are so many like level-based aspects to the Pikmin franchise now, ever since Pikmin 2 and 4. You could just remove the story aspect of Pikmin, take all of those elements, and then enhance them in this big multiplayer-focused game. It would also give Nintendo a lot of opportunity to experiment with different types of modes that are played with the Pikmin formula, like how they made a tower defense mode through the night missions in Pikmin 4, which, by the way, if this spin-off does come to be by some miracle, they should also add more night missions and let you make custom night missions in a level editor. That would be cool too. And screw it, while we're at it, add a roguelike mode too, just like Side Order in Splatoon 3. There is this mod for Pikmin 2 called Colossal Caverns that creates a randomly generated single sublevel that is ginormous with all of the treasures and enemies in Pikmin 2 randomly generated throughout the map, creating a different challenge every time, basically making it into a roguelike that is instantly replayable. I don't think Nintendo will, nor do I want them to make it exactly like Colossal Caverns. I think having multiple sublevels would be better, maybe being able to get randomized power-ups every time you complete a floor or replenish a certain amount of Pikmin or something like that, but that would be awesome. But however they do it, I really want a roguelike mode for Pikmin officially made by Nintendo. Splatoon Side Order DLC, I made a whole video talking about how much I loved it, and having that formula applied to the Pikmin franchise is a pipe dream. Actually, this whole game idea is a pipe dream because it would make the Pikmin franchise so much more replayable. I could be playing a game like that every day for the rest of my life and not get bored of it, which is probably the reason why Nintendo shouldn't make it, because I would become extremely lazy in all of my other responsibilities in life. But I'm gonna stop myself there because I could ramble about this idea I just came up with for hours. So I'll hand it off to you guys. What do you guys think will be in this Nintendo Direct? What do you guys want to see in this Nintendo Direct? Maybe the Nintendo Direct already came out and you want to tell me how much of a genius I am for guessing everything correctly, or how much of a dumbass I am for getting everything wrong. Anything you want to say in the comments is welcome. I will read them all. I hope you have a good day, and I'll see you tomorrow for my reaction and impressions to the Nintendo Direct.